Hi there. So we are going to be expanding a bit further on the building a CNC machine from CAD files operations that we did before with building this Haas VF2. And we're going to be adding a trunnion and turntable to this, which opens up full 5-axis machining opportunities. Now, we have the good fortune of being able to use CAD files directly from Haas on this, so that's great. I'm not going to be going through the full process of using the simplifier tool again, because realistically this isn't going to be used in the production environment right now, and I'm more interested in showing you how to apply and integrate the extra axes than I am in retreading the same old ground that we'd covered in the previous video set. So for now, we're just going to import the raw CAD file. So I'm going to hover over Add Mechanism and click on Machine Equipment, and I'm going to grab this TRT 160 trunnion table, and I'm going to click on OK. So once that's fully imported, we obviously need to define the parameters for this, and fortunately, being a trunnion table, it's actually fairly constrained parameters, so it's quite easy to work with, although it is a detailed model, so there will be a little bit of fussiness involved. And the first thing that we can see is it's currently in the incorrect orientation, so let's very quickly resolve that by rotating it in X by 90 degrees. And we need to tell it how many axes it's going to be working with, so we're going to use a template for this. Now, by default, it just assumes that the whole thing's just a base unit that doesn't do anything. This is obviously not the case. So we're going to click on Template, and we're going to choose 2 rotary axes. And we're going to start out by selecting the content of the first rotary axis, which is this trunnion table here. And I'm going to highlight all of that in yellow. Again, because I've not run simplifier on this, the model is a little bit fussy, but it's not the end of the world. Now, there are also some internal bits in this because Haas is very, very comprehensive in their modeling. So I'm going to render this joint invisible for the moment, so we can see those internals and highlight them so they all move correctly and we don't end up with any weird hovering bolts or fixtures in midair when using this. Now, as I say, in an ideal world, would have run this through the simplifier and everything would be better, but for now, we're just doing this quickly. So I'm going to rename this axis into trunnion, which is a very odd word if you think about it. I'm not entirely sure what the origin is, but gotta say, it certainly sounds very English. It's the kind of thing that people in the 1800s in flat caps designing machines would absolutely love to call things. And I'm now going to nominate the rotary axis, which is our turntable, and I'm just going to select all the bits relevant to that, and we'll call that turntable as would be fitting. I'm going to very quickly tidy up the names on this because, you know, I don't need to know that it's a step file and when it's made. I just need to know it's TRT 160. And we're going to list the brand as well. And the last thing that we're going to do is we are going to move the base coordinate system on this because at the moment it's in a bit of an odd position. And instead of adding, oh, dearie mate, sorry, let's just quickly redo that. Instead of adding loads of coordinate system points to this, we can actually make use of this one. So if we go into base CS edit mode, and I am going to control click this, and I'm going to move it to the center point of this slot here, because that is actually a very, very convenient slot for being able to map the machine. There we go, that nice bright orange curve there highlights it. And that will allow us to map the machine quite nicely to the T-slots on the table of the milling machine, which is what we want. So I'm just going to revert that orientation because at the moment it's rotated by 180 degrees in Z, which we don't actually want. So I'm going to set that to 0. And I'm now going to pull out of base coordinate system edit mode. And I'm going to click next so we enter the kinematics menu. Now, we need to obviously set these bearing positions in this. So let's very quickly do that. So the trunnion bearing is going to want to be based around the center point of this axis here. So I'm going to hold down Control, and move it. And don't worry about everything else moving alongside it. It's not the end of the world. And that is now based on that center there. You could see there was a small orange ring that came round, which again tells us it's at the snap point. And we want to set the limits on this. So I am going to set this to -90 to +90. Obviously, you want to check what your trunnion table is capable of with the datasheet from the manufacturer. I'm just going with 90 and 90 because they're fairly obvious figures for this sort of thing. But again, it's entirely down to what you've purchased and what you've got on your machine. You obviously don't want to try and break your expensive 5-axis attachment just by shortcutting that, okay? I'm going to set the address on this to the B axis as well. And that looks like that is pretty much good to go. So we now need to work on assigning the turntable and workpiece connectors. So if I now move on to turntable in the kinematics tree, we can see we've got the bearing here, but that wants to be over here. So again, we hold down Control and we grab it and we move it until we get that nice orange ring indicating that it's at the center point of a bore, which is the correct bore, no less. I'm going to set this to unlimited because, well, I kind of hope it's an unlimited turntable. Again, check your data sheet because otherwise you're going to have a really bad time programming with it. You can set your values here as we have done previously. And I'm going to set the address to the C axis. And then finally, we want to move our workpiece so it's at the center of this turntable at the correct height. So we're going to Control and grab that and then move it so it looks like it's currently sat on the top surface pretty perfectly, actually. Let's just snap the view around there and zoom in. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I think that looks good. So I'm going to call that done for the moment. So we can now very quickly, let's rename that. So that's turntable. Oh, would be helpful if I remembered how to use my keyboard properly. Workpiece. Okay. And I'm going to click on apply now. So we can now move into the simulation. Oh, no, it directly dumped us straight out of there. Again, not the end of the world. Absolutely fine. The first thing that we'd like to do, though, is we would like to move this so it's under the direct control of the rest of the machine, because otherwise, when we assign a connector to it, it won't track properly. So I'm going to grab this, and I am going to get it to nest inside the HASVF2 there, which is fine. It's automatically defaulted to jumping onto the table center workpiece, which isn't really ideal for our needs. So what we're going to do is we are going to fit another similarly placed coordinate system in the center of the middle T-slot, although it's only going to be about probably 100 mil in from the edge, okay, as opposed to being perfectly centered. So to do this, we go into the HASVF2 here, we double click on it, and we assign a fresh connector. So we want the assembly equipment connector, and we want to drag that and move it into X axis there, so it's now slave to that, and we need to move it accordingly. So as we can see, it's the green one here that's highlighted. So I'm going to hold down Control again and drag it to where we need it to be, which is going to be this edge here. Now, if you remember from the previous video in this, these slots are 19.05 millimeters across, or 3/4 of an inch, because it's an American machine. So we're going to move this into the center line by using our cheeky numerical trick again, where we type in minus bracket 19.05 over 2, close bracket, and that's now moved it to the middle. We're going to do the same again over here to move it along in X by plus 100. And that brings it in nicely. And we are going to rename it as trunnion base. No, trunnion mount, actually. Let's make that nice and unambiguous. So trunnion mount point. And then click on apply. So now we want the trunnion to be based on the trunnion mount point. So let's move that down to there. And you can see how it's automatically just snapped straight to it. It's aligned the base connector of the trunnion to the trunnion mount point without having to zero any of this out or make any edits. Okay, so that pretty much sets that up as we need it to for now. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure that this definitely moves along the axis as it should, and we want to check the ranges of motion on this. So we've got a couple of ways of doing this, but the quickest and easiest is to click on the Run Simulation button. So let's do so. I'm going to just click on Demo here so I don't have to do anything further. Now we can see that the Z-axis does intersect there. That's not ideal. We need to make sure that collision detection is turned on for that. But we can also see that the trunnion table tracks along with the table perfectly. We'll also take a look at the motions of the trunnion table to make sure that the angular settings in there are correct. So if we click on Demo, we can see that rolls largely according to what we'd expect, and that rotates nicely and cleanly. There's no weird offsets in there from not having the bearing centered, so I'm quite happy with that. The only thing that we really need to change at this point is we want to make sure that this corresponds to the color scheme of the rest of the machine, because, you know, let's make it look nice. So to do so, we double click on the TRT 160 again, and we go down to Style, and instead of having the 3D model colors, we're going to choose Gunmetal. And we click on Apply, and now everything matches nicely. That looks like a single, coherent, nicely designed machine, which is very much what we want to achieve with this. Obviously, we've still got the assembly settings and all of those parameters to go through at some point, but that is, again, something that's exclusive to the particular setup of your trunnion. Right here, right now, my main focus has been just to make sure that you know how to apply this new piece of hardware to your machine, how to get the axes to work together, how to get it all to correspond to each other. All of those settings are the kind of things that will be covered very, very well by your manufacturer's documentation. I hope this brief tutorial has been useful, and obviously if you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next video.